like there's that little countdown. Okay,
And we're live! So another amazing Tuesday edition of Facebook Live's Marketing for Insurance Agents group. So look forward to having a lot of you guys join us. We have an excellent one for you guys here today. Have some awesome people we've brought to introduce you to. In fact, probably a lot of you know some of them already, so very excited about that. Real quick, I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys can let us know that you can hear us and see us, make sure all the audio, video is all good. Please let us know. If you're catching the replay, let us know that you're catching the replay. And as you join, let us know where you're joining from and what lines of insurance you guys specialize in. So really excited for today. A couple little quick announcements. If you guys haven't seen it, we got a big invite contest going on to the group right now. So we got prizes going out each week. On Fridays, we'll announce the winner for the previous week, and then overall grand prizes for the contest as well. So we're doing some huge prizes for that. So if you know insurance agents, invite them to the group, win prizes. It's a win for everybody. It's awesome. Have them. We'd love to have them as part of the community. So we'll take real good care of them. So invite all of the agents you know to the group and win some prizes. And also, we just dropped a new video on our YouTube today. So go check that out and subscribe if you haven't. We will be having awesome recordings of our lives there, as well as a bunch of other videos. A recording of this video will be on our Facebook, or sorry, on our YouTube page eventually. So definitely go subscribe to be alerted to that, as well as a new blog article dropped today too. So go check that out. And yeah, so we got some really great blog content for you guys too. As always, if you guys haven't seen me before or seen the group, we got some free resources that you guys can go grab as well off the website, and we create some free ones for you guys in the groups each week too. So, but overall, we're looking to connect you with amazing resources and tools for building your insurance business, whether you're an agent or an agency. We've got a bunch for you. So today is all about an innovative new program tool for upping your sales and learning how to improve your sales, live coaching, a really fun and awesome way to improve that. And so we're really excited, and we got some special guests today. So Amy we'll be dropping in the comments links to different stuff, so make sure to check those out, and I'll bring questions up on here as well. So if you guys have any questions at all throughout, please drop them in the comments and we'll make sure to get them answered. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. So say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So we got Jeremy Olson, we got Kristin, we got Sonia here. We're very excited to have you guys join us. If you guys could each just give a little introduction about yourselves and your background, how you got into this insurance industry, that'd be great. We'd love to learn a little bit about you guys. So Jeremy, can you kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having us, and for everybody out there watching. My name is Jeremy Olson. I'm a 22-year Allstate agent here in Seattle. I have 6 locations and a team of 35. And just, I guess what people would say about me is I'm just super passionate about insurance. My father was a 47-year State Farm agent. My grandfather was a 30-year State Farm agent. So literally since the age of 4, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I just am so lucky and honored to work in this industry. And with that, we'll kick it over to Kristin, who works on the team.
So I'm Kristin Isaacson, and I work on Jeremy's team. I've been with Jeremy for 5 years now, and I work as the team coach and general manager. So my role is really just to help our team members get better, both personally and professionally, because that's my background. I have a background in 20 plus years of sales, even though I don't look that old. Just kidding. But and I also am certified to teach for a company called Dale Carnegie Training. I'm very proud of that certification, but that brings my sales experience and then my professional coaching experience together for what we do with role play at the Olson Agency.
Yeah. And Sonia.
Awesome. Sonia, who are you?
Hi, I'm Sonia Gredler. I am the producer of the show. I have been a licensed staff producer for a little over a decade, and then the last 2 years I've spent consulting with agency owners. And so my superpower really is that I've seen both sides of the business, and really I'm just here to help you guys bring the power of role play to your agencies.
Awesome. Well, thanks for introducing yourself, guys. And so, role play. Can you tell us a little bit about what role play is, and maybe what inspired you guys to start role play at the Olson Agency and kind of where that came about?
Why, sure. I think I could probably, Sonia and I can take this one, but so
I'll just sit back.
Yeah. So no, again, I've been, an agent for 22 years, and something that is just super important, that's been super important to me for my team is just to always coach them and train them and just always make them be their best, just put them in a position to succeed and to be the most successful they possibly can. So it was 5 or 6 years ago, and I had sent some of my team members to this course, Dale Carnegie, and that's where I had met Kristin. Kristin reached out and wanted to start to work with some of my team members just on a one-on-one basis. And she did that. I saw amazing results. And so pretty soon I just said, I think we need our own team coach. And a lot of my agent friends looked at me like, you're going to spend money on just a person to coach your team? Absolutely. And so it was kind of unique, but we did it. And I would say we've absolutely seen amazing results by having our own coach. But one of the first things that Kristin came on board, and Sonia will attest to this, she came on board and she said, I would really like to implement role play in your agency. And I took one look at her, and I think Sonia probably did the same, and said, no chance. We're not doing that. I'm not comfortable with it. For 17 years at that point, I had just told people, including Sonia, just do it this way. It works. Just do it this way. It's so easy. Just sell. And I didn't want anything to do with role play. Kristin was very persistent, and that's where we're at today. I just think that the results, I would say in 22 years, I've never seen anything impact my agency as role playing, as practicing. And that's why, athletes, you see, they practice every day. They don't just go out on the field. That's it. And that is what role play is. And I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. And Sonia, maybe share your experience of why you push back, and then just what we've seen with the teams that we've worked with.
Yeah, I think what it does is it holds people accountable to what we really want to see. When I first started working in Jeremy's agency, most of his people, I sat down with each one of them just to kind of get a baseline of where they were at, where they wanted to go, and what were the things that were holding them back. And when we got to that conversation of what was holding them back, a lot of people said, I can't sell insurance like Jeremy does. People think his name is on the door. I just am not as good. And so as I continued to work in the agency, I saw that maybe we had a need for like mapping out a process for them. And the first thing that we did is we mapped out a process, and we put that out there to the team. Well, we thought that would be super easy. It just, it made so much sense. They would just do it. And what we found is that they didn't just do it. They kind of reverted to their old ways. So then we started doing role play to hold them accountable to the talk pass. We saw a huge lift in production as a result of it. So that was the first thing, is it affected the bottom line. But then as we continued to do it, people were kind of resistant at first. They didn't want to do it. They felt uncomfortable, all the things that you feel with role play. But then we started to notice we weren't going to stop. And so we kept the momentum going with this. And the team started to come together. They started to communicate more effectively with each other. I would hear them like role playing talk pass with each other. They started getting innovative and creative and being better themselves. So it has been just like a culture play, and it's been a play on just that bottom line.
Sonia, what would you add to that?
I was going to say real quick, I saw you mention that, some of them were hesitant at first with engaging and kind of doing the role playing and stuff. And what do you think some of that hesitation came from? Or, do agents think it's silly, or they're just hesitant being on screen with people and in front of people, or put on the spot necessarily, even though they are every day, every call they're on? Where do you find kind of some of the hesitation, or some people that are maybe don't know much about role play, or kind of skeptical about the results? Kind of what do you tell about them about that?
Yeah, well, first I'll have Sonia talk on that, because she actually was one of the hesitant people.
I was actually one of those people. So
she's been cursed. Yeah. So now she has to do it for the rest of her life like this. But what's really funny that you say, like, on the screen, they weren't even on screen at first. We were actually doing it on conference calls, like literally talking to each other, which I think can be real effective too. But there's a lot of different, I'll let Sonia speak to her story, but what I've heard as far as like just a gauge of what you hear from people, they've had a bad experience in the past. So role play has actually broken them down to where they don't want to do it because they've been humiliated by it. They just don't like feeling uncomfortable and talking in front of other people, which that's kind of like a red flag to me if you're in sales, because you should like to talk in front of people.
Yeah.
They don't believe in you or trust that you've got their back. Like, and I think that the other thing is that it's just something different. And so they don't want to start changing something because they think that they've been in insurance a really long time and they already know everything. So Sonia, with that, I'm sure that you can pick and probably have even more to say. What was your experience?
So again, I'd been doing this for when Kristin was hired, I'd been on Jeremy's team for about 2 years, and I'd already been doing this for 4. And so I was fairly successful. I'd probably write about 35, 40 items a month. And so when Kristin came in and wanted to role play, I just was like, no, we don't do that here. Like, you probably don't get the culture here. We don't do that here. And so she's a pretty persistent human. And so she insisted on us role playing every day. And I just was, in that point in my career, I was a little jaded. Like, insurance really isn't an easy career. And I had fallen into the career like a lot of people. I wasn't someone that was like, always knew I wanted to be an insurance agent. I just started as a receptionist at a State Farm office. And then next thing you know, I was selling insurance. And there was this like flame that we all have when we first started, right? You're just like excited. And like any human that will listen to you, you're like, here's insurance, you have insurance, to like everybody, and like you're super amped. And what happened with me, and I see this with insurance agents every day, 4 years later, rate increase phone calls, inspection issues, billing inquiries, cancellations, like you get a little, bogged down and a little jaded. And that's really where I was when Jeremy had hired on Kristin. And so I just really wasn't in a place of wanting growth. But again, the woman insisted. She's really relentless. You guys will see this. She'll keep pushing and pushing. She does not give up on people. And so she kept pushing and pushing. And the day that I really noticed the change was that I had an objection and I didn't really think about it. I just responded. And that's when I realized that it's all about conditioning. And so role play is how we condition our minds so that we're quick on our feet, we're agile, and we have those responses and you don't have to think about them, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Cheer. I think a lot of us have been watching on Netflix. He makes a point on there about how they make them do their routines over and over and over and over and over, the exact same ones, because they want to condition them so that no matter what happens in the middle of the routine, they always respond the same way and they have that response and that agility to move forward. And that really is what role play does, is it's our form of practice. And so, I've seen it over and over again where people just are not in the frame of learning, whether they're set in their ways or they're just, not in that space. And we really make this fun. And I think that's really the difference, is just having something really fun, really engaging, and then seeing those results really fast, because that's really where people will get that buy-in.
Awesome. How fast have you seen results? I mean, have you had anybody
They'll get off
and implement it even the next day even?
The same day. Paul Vogel's team member got up. He watched the I Want to Cancel My Policy episode. His team member got off the phone, a new team member, mind you, got off the phone, took a cancellation call, and saved a 9-item household using the script that we taught him, like immediately getting off the show. And so people will take away results and we hear them like immediately after.
Well, and I think that's how we design it. We spend a lot of time on the talk pass, and we'll go through some of the prior episodes that we've had, but we really focus on making them things that they can use immediately and implement immediately when they get off the show. We had one agency owner in Colorado. She's been an agent for 8 or 9 years, very big book of business, super successful. She actually posted on our Facebook page about how after 1 month of watching our episodes, she saw a 13% increase in her close rate. 13% in a big agency is huge. That's hard to move. So we definitely see results every day, including in our own agency. We have our own team members watch this every week.
Well, and actually, like, we just had a team member yesterday that kind of felt like he was just losing his ground a little bit. He's the top sales advisor in our agency, but just was having a slow start to the month. Sat down with him, did some role play. And today, literally in our team chat, he doesn't get paid to chat on our internal team chat. He said, "I'm so excited, back on track." I mean, this stuff like just works. Even if you feel like you know everything, you get off track sometimes. So we hear it every single day at this point, because we have, created a base of members that are very engaged. Every single day we're hearing stories of success, which is really fun to see.
So can you explain a little bit what the format looks like?
Yes. Sonia, do you want to take that since you talk about it every day?
I do. So we bring the live show every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We get 2 staff from across the country. They do not know each other. They've never been given the talk paths before, and they role play it live on the show. The first about 10 to 12 minutes, we teach the specific talk path that's voted on by you guys. This is actually pretty extraordinary, is that you guys, our members, are the ones that lead all the topics. They vote every single week on exactly what it is they want us to role play. And so that's so unique in the trading industry in and of itself. And so we teach the why behind it, the psychology behind it, the really what traditionally is said under those circumstances. And then they role play it live, and then Kristin actually spot coaches afterwards, where I think that's really where the magic is, because people will see firsthand right then and there. They'll see what it sounded like the first time, then they'll see these tweaks, and then they see a completely different and feel the difference of what it actually sounds like from a consumer standpoint. And I think that's really where that drives in those results and gives people the want to implement the stuff that they're watching on the show.
Makes sense. That sounds like an awesome format. Oops, let me shift this back around a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that very first part, David, is really key. A lot of people, when we've seen them teach role play, they just say, here's the talk path, just role play it. Mm-hmm. They don't spend time. That's why, we spend a lot of times on the slides that we share. We have bullets, very specific reasons why these are going to work, some stats on why they work. And we talk a lot about that so that we get their buy-in, and staff members across the country are excited to embrace the talk path that we're then going to lay out. And then just the uniqueness of, like Sonia said, 2 staff members, they've never met each other. They both work in the industry and in agencies. That's very unique because you get to see them role play, and it just adds a little bit of fun to it.
You really know, we don't know what is going to take place, which is kind of cool because it makes it very spontaneous, and it gives the agency owners opportunities to see. Sometimes we're actually faced with some, just some situations where you do have to hold people accountable right there on the spot to the coaching. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people don't know actually when they haven't been coached how resistant they are until they're in that space. And sometimes they get, a little bit like, want to say like why they don't want to do it. And my role is to really coach them through that and still have them try it. And so it becomes very interesting that every single show is so different as a result of that in itself.
And it also, it sounds like, gives you opportunity to analyze and coach on some things that they might not take into account or really analyze on an ongoing basis, like tone or the way in which they pause when presenting something. Most people get a script or something and they just read it like a robot, and that's not going to work.
Well, Kristin does a really good job even noticing where people have like cushion words, like they might say maybe before something, and it just takes away a little bit of the power of what they're trying to say. And a lot of us have those and we don't even know that we use them. It's just something that we've acquired over all the years of selling, right? And she will point that stuff out. And a lot of the time it'll make you who's watching be like, wait a minute, do I have cushion words? Like, wait, do I use that word? Is that what it sounds like when I use that word? Maybe. I don't want to sound like that. So it's pretty powerful. Another thing is that we've had where we have a state farm and a farmer's agent, or a captive or independent agent. We have whoever's on there, they come from all different walks of career-wise, like different companies. And it's just really interesting because, one thing I've noticed amongst working with all the different companies and all different ones, every single one has the same problems. Like we all struggle through the exact same stuff, right? And it's just really cool to have that sense of community. Like it doesn't matter where the background is, like we are all in the same space of just wanting to make sure that our customers are better protected and that we can present to them and guide them through this process in an easy way, right? And that it's collaborative between you and your consumer. And so they do a really good job of teaching how to talk human in the insurance world, which I just think is so important for, if you're talking to your customers.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying we like to make the shows really engaging and have people interact. So we encourage chat throughout the whole show. We're answering questions live as they come up. We stay on late. We try to keep the shows at exactly 30 minutes to respect people's time. They're working during the week. but we often will stay on. Today we were on for another, Sonia could probably tell us to the minute, but I think 22 extra minutes because people had so many questions about referrals. That was today's topic.
And they answer all of them. Like we've even had people, and we encourage it, where they're like, why did you say it like this? Or, what do you say if the customer says no? Or what do you say if the customer says something like this? And they'll actually role play it live. And then I transcribe that so that people still have it available for them to download in the library that we have as well. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. So you guys do this every week of the year, and you have access to them, correct?
Yeah, the last Tuesday of every month is a little different. We actually do a live classroom, and so that has been really impactful because you want to actually make sure what you're what you're using is working, right? And if there's little challenges that you might stumble on, we want to make sure that people can work through those together. And so they do the last Tuesday of every month is a live classroom. Everybody's invited on. Everybody gets the opportunity to role play with Jeremy and Kristin in a little bit of a space, like a safer space where they're not the center of attention. And so it tends to be a little more free for that for them. And I think that's been a really unique piece too, just to make sure we're able to marry together all the TalkCasts that they are learning.
Makes sense. How many people are typically hopping on the different role plays?
Well, so we've been in business now. This is, I think, our 14th week. And so we've signed up close to 400 agencies. Today, I think we had 343 on. And the cool thing is, during the show, we watched that number. I think today it started at 343 and ended at 343 because it really is engaging content. People stay on because they know they can take it back and use it.
Hi, Victor Gonzalez. We know him.
I know Victor too. I played pool with him last week.
That's funny.
Victor was actually, he just watched the show.
That's fun.
He told me he's going to be here. So yeah. Hey, Victor, say hi. So what was my next question? I was going to ask, so they have access to the library of the videos so they can go through that. And so can agency owners come on and have their different producers all come attend and check this out?
Yeah, that's how it works. So agencies, the ones that we find are getting the most results, they do watch it together as a team. Again, at the same time every Tuesday. So they sit down, they watch it together. That's what we do in our agency. Everybody's watching it at the same time. And then what we do is the very next day, we role play it together as a team. But that library, to me, is just one of the best parts of the whole platform. If somebody's struggling with a talk path, go to the library. You can watch it. When we bring on a new team member, we literally will say your entire first day, or now probably 2, with as many episodes as we have in there, spend time watching this. And then that way we're not spending our time out of the office coaching them. They can just watch it in the library. So that's just been a huge benefit for us.
It's a nice tool. And when someone's struggling with something too, sometimes I'll say, go back and watch this episode and then come back and let's role play it. So it's just a nice tool to have, especially for new people. It's been great. We've been more efficient at onboarding people and really having them understand our culture too. That gives you a really good idea of what our culture is when you start seeing some of those episodes.
Yeah, and maybe David, I'll just go through. I wrote down some of the episodes we have just so people can get an idea of what it is that we are teaching and they can expect. So far we've covered what to say when somebody gives you the price objection, how to call out to a monoline customer. A lot of people will just call and say, this is Jeremy with Allstate. You have your car insurance. Can I also quote your home? We have a much different way and more effective way. So calling monolines, what to say if somebody calls on a lead and they say, I didn't request a quote. What's a good comeback for that? We did one on pipeline management. What to say if somebody says, no, send it to me in an email. I'm not ready to make a decision now. We did one on telemarketing. We just did one today on referrals. What to say when somebody says, I want to cancel all my policies with you. Next week, our members vote on these. Next week, we're doing what to say when somebody says, I just renewed, call me in 5 or 6 months. I'm not ready. Call me later. We did one during the holidays, what to say when somebody says, call me after the holidays. We all get that. And then we did a very popular one called the 3 yes close. It's a closing technique that we use. If you look at our Facebook group,
so many people like that.
I saw some comment threads already about that. Yeah.
Yeah. that's funny because, we can role play anything. We role play other people's talk paths too. And that was actually a concept that I learned from Grant Cardone. And then we just created talk paths with the words that we wanted to use. And then we role played it. So the whole idea is no matter what you're role playing, we're teaching you how to kind of create it to make it your own and create a path out of it instead of just make it words.
I saw a question in here from Elle in regarding, if agents selling all lines can use this, or, oh, look, it's right there on the screen. That's fun.
Technology.
I actually don't sell insurance anymore. I work more on the consulting piece with agency owners. I watch the show live every single week, and I've actually been able to mold the frameworks to be more on what I use when I'm consulting with agency owners and when I'm growing on this side of the business. And so, whatever it is that you're doing, we actually had one member sign up, Judy, who's a Medicare. She does Medicare. She signed up, and she's been molding the talk paths based on it just to fit her industry. And so to me, if you speak insurance, then you'll find content in here to help you. And the good news is that 7-day free trial, just check it out and see what happens, right? So they have that option too.
By the way, there's a 7-day free trial. So
in case you're wondering.
So I think I actually even have the link too. So if you guys go check this out, you can go ahead and sign up for the free trial to where you'll actually get to attend one of these lives and check it out live, and as well as have access to the library and check out some of these past ones and really get a feel for what this is like and really how this can benefit you or your producers as an agency owner as well. So you can guys all improve your sales skills and scenarios together. So I do want to show real quick, I do have the video of yours. So I want to show a little video that they have on role play at the Olson Agency. So let's check this out. Hopefully I can make this work here. So let's take off the bottom banner so no one gets blocked. Play full screen. And
I would say I've always been somebody that just likes to stay on the cutting edge of all of the changes that we have going on every day in our business. I really wanted to get into coaching and developing my team members. And that's where I was introduced to Kristin Isaacson here, a certified Dale Carnegie trainer.
When I saw Jeremy's passion for growth in himself and growth in his agency, it was absolutely contagious, and I had to be a part of it. One of the first things that I just thought was really normal to implement was role-playing talk paths to get better. I thought it would be easy. I went to Jeremy and I said, how about if we just try out some of this talk path and role play this ourselves? And he said,
nope, not going to happen. I did not want to do it. I don't like to get outside my own comfort zone sometimes with things like that. And so I just didn't do it. And Kristin was very, very persistent. And finally, I just said, yeah, let's try it. And the impact that I've seen it have on my team members has been pretty incredible.
I've been a team member on Jeremy's team for 5 or 6 years at that time. And frankly, I didn't want anything to do with role playing. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it feels staged, and I truly didn't feel like I was going to actually benefit from role playing every single day. But I learned to trust Kristin with all of her coaching, and I took a leap and we role played every single day. And surprisingly enough, I saw some pretty drastic results. I love coming to work every single day. I came with conviction, with direction, and with a plan, and I started seeing drastic results in my numbers. And so little did I know that one tiny thing was going to change everything. Everything.
It's because of this change and these results that we thought, what if we put this all together in a company, role play at the Olson Agency, where we really gave all of our perspectives. And that's what we feel is just so crucial to your team's development.
that really is so different that we can bring these 3 perspectives to you live with staff members from across the country.
There's nothing like this out there. Every single week, you get a certified trainer from one of the most renowned training companies in the world, a more than 20-year insurance agent in here training your team every single week.
And the show itself is not only role play. We're actually going to break this into 3 parts for you. So the first part is going to be the why, the how, the psychology behind what are we teaching you today? Why are we teaching this to you? We're then going to role play the talk paths that we teach. We're then going to coach. So 3 pieces to this.
So we challenge you, stretch yourself outside your comfort zone, do something different and get a different result, and come grow with us.
That's so fun.
Excellent video, guys. Love it.
It only took 12 takes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. 3 minutes and 2 days of videotaping. Like, I don't know. Like we didn't know what we were in for.
Oh,
I look at that and I say, I'm tired.
I was like, oh my goodness, I have a newfound respect for actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's all one take all the time. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
So for Sonia, it sounds like for you, it really kind of took you from a skeptic to a believer.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been in this industry for so long, and I just thought that I knew it all. And I talk to team members every day that feel like that. You know, like I'm good, or I don't have time, or, you know, I'm good is kind of my overall response. And it's really interesting because it did take a lot of persistence. It took a lot of persistence from Kristin to get it. And it's funny because now sometimes I'll reach out to her and just be like, I'm so sorry for not being so independent. I'm so sorry. It must have been so frustrating for you because you just truly just wanted to help me get better. And I was just so dead set in my ways and just really not in a space to want to accept coaching. And she insisted. And like, it did take actually seeing those results for me to actually really get the buy-in. And it's really interesting. I actually saw somebody I used to work with back in my State Farm days, probably about a week and a half ago. I saw her. We went to lunch and she was like, I don't know who this is because it's not the Sonia I knew back when you were at State Farm. Like, this is, you speak different, you carry yourself different, you have this confidence about you that I have not seen in you before. And it's I didn't have that before. And that really does come from being in this propel motion forward and not being reactive to training, but being proactive to training and just really being a lifelong learner. I reach out to Kristin probably, I mean, if I get one call where I don't feel like it went well, I immediately call Kristin. I'm like, here's how the call went. We need to figure out a strategy so that that doesn't happen again. And so let's work through some talk paths. And like me years ago would not have done that. I would have done what every team member does, get off the phone, get frustrated, go sit at another team member's desk, tell them
Talk about it. Right. Yeah.
15 minutes of the day. I mean, it is what we would do. I mean, I would do that. And even I work still sometimes in some of Jeremy's locations, and that doesn't happen. Like, John will get off the phone. One of our team members will get off the phone and he'll be like, darn it, I didn't close that. And he'll sit in another team member's desk and they'll role play it. Like, they truly do. They will literally be like, let's run through.
So corny.
Role play.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's just a way of communicating. And I think what's so funny about Sonia is, and I hope she doesn't mind if I tell this story because it's just like life has a way of giving us what we thought we maybe like were in control of. So I remember the first time I sat down with Sonia and I just asked her, what's going on right now? What do you want? What do you think's holding you back? And what's the payout if you get there? So she, painted this picture of what she wanted for her life. She wanted to live in a condo on the water. And I'm big into planning through your vision of what you want. And so I kind of gave her a little, she's like, okay, well, so what do you think after talking to me for an hour, what do you think I need? And I'm just like, well, I think you kind of struggle with like being two Sonias, one that's really hard on yourself and one that's just like a go-getter and wanting to go out there and get there. And she's like, yeah, I think that's true. Okay. Like, how long will it take for me to change that? I want to do that. And I'm like, well, like maybe like your lifetime. Like she didn't get the concept at first of like what like consistent growth mindset, that growth, and constantly like pushing yourself outside your comfort zone was. And I think that's the fun thing about Sonia is when she turned that on, when all of a sudden she realized that being uncomfortable was where she was seeing her most success, and she wanted more of that. Now she just wants more. And so she's really inspiring. She does not need to call me and say, I didn't do very good on that call. Sonia's very good at what she does. People are wanting to hire her every single day. But when you get a rock star, that's what rock stars do, is they want more. They want to learn more. They never think they're at their best, and they want to continually grow. And that's just something that the switch has to turn on you. And these kinds of things like role play can do that, because when you start seeing positive results, what do most people want? They want more, right? And then all of a sudden they want to, research different opportunities of what more they could do even outside of, work. And that's what Sonia did. And that's why we love having her as our team member on our POA.
That's awesome.
It's so fun. I mean, let's go here.
So do you agree with all that?
I think that's super important. Our members get to, pick Sonia's brain all the time. And she has that experience coming from a staff member to this now. But that is when she saw that, wow, I can just learn throughout life and get better. She just completely, like Kristin said, just flipped a switch. And Sonia, came along this journey with us. 6 months ago, we decided to launch this. Sonia worked for 6 months, not making a dime to be able to do this. She truly has a passion for helping agency owners and staff. She loves talking to them every day. But that's what you get as a member. You get the support of Sonia.
Yep.
I really, truly just want people to love what they do. Like, if you ever ask me, I'm like, at the end of the day, like, just love what you do. Like I'm here to make it shows where you truly love what you do and become a lifelong learner and are just, in this space of growth, because that's really when we really, in my opinion, when you truly start living, because if there's a will, there's a way. Everything is figure outable. Everything you can learn.
and this industry is one that people should love what they do, because they're really helping people and protecting people and making a huge, huge difference. You're not selling widgets, you're selling protection and security and all this stuff. You're really helping people truly, and it's a lot easier to feel happy with what you're doing and really enjoy what you're doing when you're successful at it, and not just having people tell you no. So really improving yourself and improving how good you are at it and having more success really helps you enjoy it more. And so that's really what, with this, you're improving, you're seeking to improve and get better and constantly find ways of which you can improve on. Maybe you didn't respond to that objection that well, or you didn't know how to respond to it. And so this way you can find out how to do that and further improve yourself. And then even take this format and then spontaneously do it with your coworkers, like you're kind of talking about on a day-to-day and like a continued education learning basis. And I think that's really what separates a lot of the 8% of agents that make it versus 92% that don't, is complacency and not looking to constantly improve and really become the best you can be in this industry, which without having the resources with this.
Yes, that's it. And the thing is, like, for agency owners, that's a lot of pressure. Like, realistically, it's a lot of pressure to be coming up with like innovative talk paths, to stay ahead of your team, to coming up with relevant scripts to keep them engaged. That is a lot of pressure. I mean, you are already wearing so many hats as an agency owner, and now you have to put on a coach hat. Like, that is like, a lot, and it's probably not as glamorous as your beautiful hat, and it's a lot of work. And so like for us, like, for agency owners, it just takes one extra, like, it just takes such a lift off of their shoulders. I mean, every single week they get a specific script that we call them talk paths, but in terms of keeping things unanimous, we give a specific script and it's voted on by their team. Like, and the cool thing is, like, sometimes what'll happen is like a specific one will go like 3 or 4 times before it gets voted on, and by the time it gets voted on, people are like, yay, and like so amped. And like, when's the last time somebody in your office was like amped to truly learn something new, like excited, wanting to go in there and try it? Like, when was the last time an agency owner truly had that in their office? And like, they get that every week. It's just like, we're just so lucky to be able to give that to people, that excitement, that engagement, and that it's just we're so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that really is what this is. We think of it like we're just streaming coaching into your agency. We just stream a live Kristin into your agency every day, and she coaches it, because she truly is very unique and just different in the way she coaches. That's why, when I came up with this idea a few months ago to start this company, originally I was going to call it Role Play with Kristin, because it really is about her style of coaching that makes this possible. Then married with my 25 years in the industry, I think that's what really makes it unique is that.
Absolutely. The level of experience in the industry and in sales is huge. And having that team do that coaching and really take you through these different talk paths or scripts is huge. And then you're talking about the stress of an agency owner. Like I said, they're pulled in a million different directions. They have a ton of stuff going on. They don't have time to really do the training with their staff or come up with these scenarios and stuff. And then also, additional stress is, they want their agents to be successful because this is how their agents make a living and survive in this industry and feed their families. And so that's additional stress. How do I, help make my agents successful and train them, especially when I don't have the time? And so outsource it to the professionals here that can do that for you and come up with new stuff every week that you're training the staff on that makes them more successful. They're happier, and ultimately as an agency owner, you're benefiting off that as well. So, it's a win for everybody. So, it's a really, really awesome scenario, and this is a fun, interactive way to learn too. Most people, have their preferred learning styles, but usually it's not just sitting down and reading a book, or, and then maybe watching a video is a little better. That's great too. But actually being able to be engaged, ask questions, get feedback, that hands-on experience, whether you're on it or you're watching someone go through that and interacting with them as well, and also receiving that coaching is huge. And so as an agency owner, how many agency owners are able to do that each week with their staff and take them through all that? And, how much of their staff could use even more, even if they were able to do that. So yeah, it's huge. It's a no-brainer too, especially because it's priced by, for the agency, right? It's not how many, if I have 10 agents or 2 agents,
it's priced for the whole.
My agents.
Mm-hmm.
What's really interesting is when you're saying that, just the community that we're creating through this. The agency owners are on the calls every single week. Their staff are on the calls too. And so they're chatting in. Sometimes we have agency owners that actually want to do the role play because they play a sales role in their agency. But I think that is so key that they get involved and they lead by example. But for us, we use it in our agency too. And I'm super excited to have that because we're really great at role playing, but we weren't as great at organizing everything. And this business is forcing us to have all of the talk paths organized a little bit better, to have it all in one place. I've always wanted to do that, but it's something that I was pushing off to the side as an administrative job that I just didn't have time for. And so now that we're doing it, our members are actually holding us accountable to even be more efficient in our agency, which is kind of funny because we're using it every single week and it's very relevant to what we do here. And we're getting the same kind of lift that other agencies are getting across the country. So it's just a really interesting business model for us.
Yeah, I really like it. I think, it's fun and it's, an innovative, great way of learning, how to go through these. And ultimately at the end of the day, it also results in the agents being more confident. They know how to handle these scenarios. Someone says, oh, I'm good. Call me back 5 or 6 months. Oh, I know exactly what to say here or how to handle this. And so, if versus I don't know how to handle these, so I guess I'm just going to have to give up on this and go talk to someone and try to hope they know how to handle that for the future ones. So,
Yes, we have learned that. Hope is definitely not a strategy. That's one of our main points.
Hope's not a great one. You want hope, but yeah, don't rely on it.
I've noticed some questions over on the site.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and bring them up. Who will benefit the most from going through these trainings? Who is the ideal person that's going to get the most out of this, have the most results, and really have success with this?
I would say anybody in an agency. Staff members are going to learn the talk paths or the scripts. They're going to learn what it looks like to role play. But we get a ton of feedback from agency owners that say, wow, I never realized that's how you coach. Mm-hmm. I've always just been, and myself included, I was just, like I said at the beginning, was that agency owner that I knew I was fairly successful. And I would just tell people, just do it this way. But one way doesn't fit all. And that's what Kristin is very good at bringing that out, each individual's strengths and coaching to it. So we get comments every day from owners that, wow, I really have learned to become a better coach myself.
I get ones like agency owners reaching out to me and just asking me, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in this situation? It's kind of fun to have them trust like that I have, some sort of opinion that might matter or might make a difference in their agency. But I would say if you were to say the ideal customer agent. So first of all, being an agency owner, being in the insurance industry, honestly, the sales industry, we have people from other industries doing it too, just because it is sales training. Mm-hmm. But ideal would be insurance, agency owner, staff members, and sales managers. And so, sales managers or managers that are coaches. And then beyond that, our ideal, person that uses this wants to be engaged. So they want to implement role play in their agency. They want to check in with their team members and say, how's it going? They want to see the lift in their agency. It's not just like it's an interactive show. So having a place where they're doing it consistently, anything you do consistently, you're going to get lift out of it. If you just decide that, you give it as an option to your team members, chances are you're not going to get as much out of it. Even we've had people say, like, just watching one show, they've gotten, enough out of it that they would pay the full year price for that. It's very, very affordable. We've made it at a price point where people couldn't say no. Like, how can you get live training? I teach a Dale Carnegie class and it's $2,000 a person for them to go through my 8-week class. So we're having people pay $99 a month to learn how to talk about insurance, have a little bit of fun, and see a different approach to it that gets them more engaged.
So you'd literally have to sell one more policy a month to pay for it.
It's what you call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see a couple other questions there, David.
So, but I did want to mention, there's the 1-week free trial. So go ahead and hop in. You can check it out. Get comfortable. Hop on the first live, and you can learn more info here as well. Plus, you can watch that awesome video again too. So
over and over.
Over and over. Just keep it on repeat. So, how does the voting process work for picking the topics?
Yeah, at the end of each show, we put up 4 topics that our members have said they'd like to see role played, and we put it on the screen and they vote. They click a button and then we share the results, and the most popular one wins.
The numbers just keep on going. They have when it gets to 100% voted, they have a certain amount of time, and then they wait for, what did we get this week? I don't even know what's the next week's topic?
This one is what to say when you're quoting somebody and they say, let me wait till renewal. I just renewed.
Oh my gosh, that was one we just put on there.
Yeah, call me in 5 or 6 months.
I can't believe I missed that on the show.
And the other thing I don't want to forget to mention, for any agencies out there that have never role played and they're like, I don't even know where to start. We actually did our very first show. This was back in October, on exactly how to implement role play in your agency. Kristin and I talked about it, what that looks like exactly. So you will know how.
Awesome. So, and with that voting, so the upcoming, this following Tuesday, Tuesdays at 12 p.m.
3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific.
Yeah, 12 Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. Will be which topic?
That's what to say when a prospect says, I just renewed with my current carrier, call me back in 6 months. Perfect.
So guys, if you guys sign up for the free trial, you guys can go attend that next one and hop on and learn how to handle that objection, which I know a lot of you hear that, especially during certain times of year as well. So we got another one. Can individuals sign up for this, or is this for agency team? Can individual producers, or independent producers sign up?
Sonia?
Yeah, you can have I'm like, yes. You can have team members can sign up, or agency owners can sign up. Obviously I would say majority of our customers are agency owners because it does cover their whole team. But we have had a handful of people that they want to get better at their career because it behooves them to do better because they make more. And so we have had people individually sign up. And again, it's at that price point where whether you're an agency owner or a team member, you can afford it. I wanted to point out really quickly that this Friday, they're actually doing a workshop for agency owners with 2 of the biggest names in hiring. And this is exclusive to our members. And so people that do sign up for the 7-day free trial will have access to that too, which is kind of cool. It's very unique. Sign up for this.
Yeah, that was just a value add I came up with last week. I thought, we do role play every week. Let's give them something different. So we're always just trying to get results. That's all we care about when we form this company. We just want agency owners and staff to be better. So what is more important than hiring? So Friday, I'm going to have 2 people that have been very impactful in my agency, a hiring firm and a recruiting firm, talk about, like, from start to finish, what's the process that will get you candidates. Number one, get the right candidates. And then how do we, just keep them going and keep them coming in?
Awesome. And Victor's very familiar with Jeremy and saying, role playing with Jeremy and Kristin will turn your agencies into rock star agencies. They really are 2 of the best at what they do. Thanks, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
So, you mentioned, what are some results that you've heard, or, I know every varies, different stuff, but what are some of the feedback you've gotten from agents that are going through this? Maybe some of the results they've gotten. That was an awesome scenario where someone literally learned how to handle someone calling in to potentially cancel policies and be able to keep that from happening for 9. What are some other results from people that have been going through this with you guys?
I think what I've heard, and this is from we all have, I would say Jeremy, Sonia, and I have different people that reach out to us for different reasons. And so, and we love that. So we love to have, we're building a community, but I have an agency owner over in Reno that really is benefiting. Her team is benefiting from it. But I think from her perspective, she feels like she's benefiting from it because one thing that she's really had trouble with is holding her team accountable. And so she's learning tips and strategies on how to talk to her team in a way that holds them more accountable. So just being a little bit tougher as a boss. And she's seeing results that way and really loving that. And so she tunes in every week. I would say from a team member's perspective, one that I recently heard, and this guy was actually on our show today, he reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and just said, I'm number 2 in our region. So I love to talk to these people that are rock stars that want to be better. That's probably my favorite person to talk to. But I talk to everybody, or, just anybody that's engaged in their own learning and growth. But this guy just love him. His name is Matt. And he said, I'm asking for referrals, but I want to know what I can do to be better. And so we talked about it, and I gave him just a little bit of a tweak and a strategy that we rolled out on our show today. And he said, when we got on camera, before we got on camera, he said, Kristin, look at this. And he held up a piece of paper, and it had 20 referrals on it. And he said, this is just from using your talk path. And so those are fun, to see people if you use it right away, you're going to get results right away. Literally, you can get results within minutes if you just change the way you talk about something. If you change your tone of voice, if you change, if you stand up to get more energy, if you smile, it just depends on specifically what they're coached on. But if they take the coaching and they use it, immediate results.
Yeah, I would say I hear close rates all the time. I hear that one. I just can't believe how many more policies I'm selling. But a big one that we don't often talk about is culture. We really have tried to create and make this a community. And so the agencies, again, that are successful with this, they are making this is our Tuesday at 3:00. This is what we do. We all gather around the big screen TV. We've had agencies go buy big monitors because they want to do it as an agency. It brings them together. They all learn together, and they just have a little bit of fun. So I would say culture has been a huge thing.
I think it's almost like watching a reality show in a way, because we never know what we're going to say. We kind of play off of each other. And then whoever I call them victims. Usually they're willing victims, but sometimes their agency owner has them pulled out of a lottery. But I think that you just never know what you're going to get. You don't know, what we're going to say. Sometimes I say stuff and I try to put it back in, but it doesn't happen. So it's out there.
What I call good TV. They're good TV. All the time. You guys are good TV. Just keep it entertaining. Cause we really do strive to keep training simple, affordable, and fun, because fun is going to keep the team.
Oh, you got to tell them about the mug, Sonia.
I know. And they get these coveted mugs. Fancy. They say, victim. I think, what do they say?
You've been coached.
You've been coached.
That's it. I wanted the victim. And I actually wanted to really chime in. So I hear more on the back end of things, because that's what I build, right? I built the library and all this stuff. And I had an agency owner reach out to me on Friday, and he was just ecstatic because he had 2 new hires, green new hires. And we had a full episode in there on how to follow up on your pipeline. And they taught what is a pipeline? How do you keep it full? How do you follow up on it? What do you say when you follow back? It was a little bit of a longer episode, but for him, he just sat his team in front of his new hires in front of that. And they learned in less than an hour, they had learned how to effectively manage and build a pipeline. And for an agency owner, that would have taken him hours to do. And he got it done in less than an hour. And so, for a lot of agency owners that I hear, that library is just so pivotal for them, because they can just go in there, search something, and then those episodes come up for their team, and they don't have to retrain them. They just sit them there and they watch it, and it feels engaging because it's, again, the Jeremy and Kristin who are.
So what all is in that library?
So that's a really great question. So I put them in by month right now. And so every single month, every episode, I cut it and upload it within 24 hours of filming. And so it's in there. I also put, I transcribe the notes and I put the talk path in there that's downloadable as well. So they can download the talk path every single week. And the benefit of being with like a new, young, growth-minded company is that our members really do have a voice here. And so typically if they tell me that they want to see something different or they would love it if we could do this, I love to oblige and we'll build people what they need. And so there's also like a Facebook post link in there, which is like for a lot of agency owners that maybe don't have social media or don't have their staff on social media. We did build one specifically where we put our best Facebook clips on there too. And so they can find that in a special little library. And then there's the one that's on how to implement role play in your agency. And then there's a community portal also, which is exclusive to our members, where they can ask for specific topics or they can ask for questions, and Jeremy and Kristin will send them videos of how to overcome specific things, and it's just that community as well.
Perfect. Yeah, part of the tribe. Yeah, you have a tribe going on, the community atmosphere, continuing, people wanting to learn, better themselves, better their careers. And so that's awesome that you guys provide that. We have, when you sign up, you get access to past trainings. I think we covered that. You get access to all the trainings and go through all those different scenarios and really learn from that. So,
and I would say too, like really look at that Facebook page too. That's a really good resource. And I know that you're on there, David, and have seen it. But a lot of people will say that they love that as a resource, and people can ask questions on there too. But we try to be, Jeremy's very strict. He doesn't like, sometimes I'll put a meme or something on there and he's like, that's not content. But we try to put content on there. Sometimes we have fun videos with our team members. Anything that we think might add value, we put on there.
Yes, Menchu, it does. Somebody asked if it includes, when you get the 7-day free trial, you get an all access pass. So it gives you access to library, access to live show, and that webinar.
So yeah, go ahead and grab that free trial and get access to everything, plus the webinar, plus the upcoming live next week. So our webinar, live webinar next week.
We call them shows because they're like a TV, so I call them shows. It's a thing.
Get access to the show. So so they can sign up for the free trial. Then you said that there's the event this Friday. Is it this Friday? What
Friday is just the ad that we're doing, which is a 30-minute webinar that I'll do with the 2 hiring companies. And yeah, absolutely. Somebody signs up, they'll get access to that. That's at
what time is that?
2:00 Eastern.
Okay.
It is Valentine's Day and my daughter's birthday, so we moved it up 1 hour.
Valentine's Day.
It'll be 10, so I had to be home a little early.
And then Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern time, every week.
Every week, 52 weeks a year.
And then you have access to everything with the library. You have the portal. You have the different scenario, the documents for those talk scenarios, the scripts, or talk paths. So it's absolutely incredible. And the community, I think, is absolutely huge. Having the level of experience that these guys have, both in insurance and in sales, and as well as having these other agents being able to chip in with their questions and everything, you can be able to learn from that as well. I like the fact that it helps make you think about and bring up areas in which you maybe don't even analyze or think about as maybe what's causing issues with some of your sales calls. A lot of people don't think about their tone, the way they pause, their language choice, maybe. So I think a lot of that is really, really cool, how that makes you think about that. Especially even if you're watching it, you can watch them go through it and be like, okay, I'm going to learn why they go through it. But eventually, you might get pulled onto the show yourself. So
yeah, I think that people don't take role play very seriously. If they do it in their agency, they don't take it seriously. So a lot of times the person playing the role of the customer will just be goofing off and saying things that aren't relevant at all. And then it turns into like just everybody laughing or giving up totally, or anger and frustration, just depending on how serious the team member is about getting things done. And but they don't look at like we're actually reenacting this like as if we were on a call so that we can be better on our calls. They're just looking at it, okay, I'm going to say the words and hopefully some of them will stick. And so I think that's really different is we're actually holding people accountable to their roles so that because you can hear whether they're role playing it or not, you can hear like their character traits and ineffective habits, like the things they're doing great and the things that maybe they could do better. You can hear that even from doing it on role play. And so that's really what I'm listening for is what are they doing right so that we can tell them and get them to do more of that, because anything you're doing right, you should do more of. And what's something that we can tweak that will make them even better than when they came. And so I'm looking for, did they change? Is there something that they got that they could change out of being in this half an hour with us? And that's really the difference. Like nobody does that with role play. I don't know how many role play companies there are out there that do specifically this. I think not very many. But even if they are, they're just going through the motions of the script. And there's a big difference in coaching through the actual talk path.
Well, and that's one of the things that we on my team just love about Kristin's style. Always starts with a positive. That's huge. And then I think what I've seen when I would watch other owners try to coach their teams, they would give them a list of 15 things in one talk path to fix. Your tone was not good. Boy, your speed wasn't very good either. Just talk a little softer. Do that, and by that time, you really confuse somebody, and they never improve. Kristin will focus on 1 or 2 tweaks that she knows will make all the difference. And you see it. I mean, you see it live in the show, the difference between the person before they were coached to 2 minutes later after they've been coached. They're a totally different sounding person.
Absolutely. And being able to pick that up and immediately implement it is huge. This isn't something that, you need to go through for months and go through, for years, and then I've become a better salesperson. Like, no, you can take this, each thing you're learning and implement it immediately, and the next day be more successful on your calls. So if you guys have, from your different experience going through these talk paths and analyzing different issues that agents have with these different scenarios and anything, do you have any, few tips or common pieces of advice that you notice are either common problems or problems that agents don't think about?
I would give a tip on coaching role play, which is I've heard people sometimes when they coach role play, their team member will do it and they'll say, I wouldn't buy from you. Try again. Nope, not this time. Try again. Nope. Oh, and you just keep on saying so they use the repetition. And it's just like every single time that person's confidence is getting lower and lower and lower, and they just want to shrink away, right? So my tip would be whatever you do, realize that role play is a confidence builder. It's not something to break the team member down. It's not like, oh, I've got to give them all this critical feedback because they're not going to get better without it. I can tell you they're not going to get better if you break them down. They're going to get better if you build their confidence. So even if you never use our service to build people up and build confidence, think of that. How do you build confidence within your team members? Ask them, how do I motivate you to be better in doing this role play and really make it a collaborative process?
Makes sense. Absolutely. Jeremy, anything?
The thing that, again, I was brand new to role play. I love how Kristin picks partners. We do this pretty much every morning. We have, like I said, 6 locations. So a lot of times we'll do it on video where they send them to us. But I love how she makes them play both parts. Somebody could be very good at just being the customer, but they never learn how to overcome the objection. So she has them flip. And this takes, what do you think? Time.
I mean, in our agency, if you're doing 2 role, just where one person's playing the part of the agent and then you switch, at the most 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes a piece, we're done. So this isn't something that you need to go take 4 hours today and role play something. It's very quick. We start every day with role play on my team. And like I said, it's made all the difference in the world. That's why Sonia can talk like she can today, because of role play.
My advice is probably a little different, and that would just be, obviously consistency is key. And really when agency owners aren't presenting a new learning program with their team, I always recommend they present it in a collaborative way. Make your team feel really included, because you're doing it for the benefit of them. And so speak as much in terms of this is in the benefit of you guys versus like, we're taking this and we're going to do this, and today we're going to do this, because you're less likely to get them to want to engage if you present a new training and development program to them and it's very like, we're doing this on this date and this date and this is what we're doing. Like, that's not the best approach. So for me, it would be just whatever training program, however you choose to go with your team in terms of training and development, just really present it to them in a way that it's in the benefit of them, and make it as collaborative as you can, because you are trying to have everybody in that growth mindset and have everybody engaged, and the way to do that is with collaboration.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. Do you guys have anything that we didn't cover that you guys wanted to mention or talk about at all?
Not that
I don't think that we really mentioned like the cost, did we? I mean, it seems like people might want to know that.
Oh.
I think we might have mentioned it briefly, but yeah, let's go ahead and kind of let people know, is there a monthly option? Is there contracts? Is there an annual? What kind of the options there?
We'll let Sonia present that.
So agency owners can opt to purchase either monthly or annually. It's either $99 a month or $9.99 a year. Includes access for their full team. There are no commitments. There's no contracts. There's no cancellations fees. Just some hurt feelings from me. We're not a good fit. But I will handle that on the back. Nothing you have to worry about if you decide we're not a good fit. And so with the 7-day free trial, I am very transparent. Like, I never want to charge anybody without them knowing. So I send out a notification 3 days beforehand and the day beforehand, just to make sure that you're happy with what we're providing you. And so again, we don't want to tie anybody here. We just want to help. And so that's how we do it.
Awesome. So agents, definitely go grab the free trial here. Check it out. See what all is there. Hop on the live next week, or the show next week, and go through it and learn and see what this whole community is about, what they're doing, and really how they're all improving through this, and learn yourself. So definitely go check it out here. You can learn more. You can watch that video again, and you can also go sign up for the 7-day free trial. And once again, if you have any questions, continue to drop them in the comments. I know a lot of you guys will catch us on the replay, so drop them in the comments. We'll make sure to see them. We'll make sure they get answered. And feel free to reach out to any of these guys, either Jeremy, Kristin, or Sonia. They're all in the group. You can reach out to them, and they also have the group for roleplay at the Olson Agency, which you guys should definitely go check out and join as well. Lots of great content dropped in there, and hopefully you'll be seeing some of that content in our group soon. And we'll definitely have them on some more lives and talking about sales and just really improving as an agent. And yeah, agents, go hop on this roleplay. It just makes sense, especially as an agency owner. Get your team on this. Ultimately, they're just going to make them happier and more successful, and also going to make you happier and more successful too as an agency owner. So any final words, guys?
I wanted to say I've been about, I don't know how many minutes in, I realized that it was actually normal for me to be sitting here on this call, like with you, with that crown on your head. It actually seemed normal. And so it's just interesting how something that's kind of different can become normal.
So you're telling me I need new props because it's normal now. Okay.
I
Challenge accepted. We'll go see what I can find over the weekend.
No, I think what she was trying to say is that if you implement role play, it will eventually become your new normal.
That's right. You can make things like
I've embraced role play. So of bringing you insurance resources. So
you're going to be our next role play victim.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm down for anything. Absolutely.
Oh, that was so much fun.
I don't mind being on video. I don't mind being in situations.
Yeah.
I might fail the scenario, but I'll have fun doing it. So, and I'll learn what I did wrong. So that's the important thing. I mean, I feel like there's nothing, kind of one of the last things here. I feel like there's nothing more frustrating probably as an agent to have someone say no or not buy from you and not have any idea why or what you did wrong. And, and then just end up repeating it the next time, or
Right.
not having someone being able to give you feedback or kind of let you know what the correct way is. There's nothing more frustrating than being wrong and not knowing the right answer or how to get that right answer. And so I think that's what's so huge here is you get that feedback. You find out what it is, what can I improve, what's different, and you don't just go into the next call feeling defeated and just repeating the same thing over and over. I think it's a vicious cycle, and it just drives agents out of this business and burnout because they get frustrated, they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to fix it. So I'm done. So yeah.
Yeah, let us help you with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anything else, guys?
I think that's it. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for having us a part of the group.
I appreciate you. Appreciate having you guys as a part of the group. Appreciate you guys having this here and having this amazing resource for agents. Agents, one last time, go grab your free seven-day free trial and check this out and really start making improvement for yourself and your team. So thanks everybody for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.